You are in a big room full of strangers. You hear the loud hum of conversation all around you. And suddenly, someone makes eye contact. They smile and start walking right towards you.
Oh, the panic sets in.
Right. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your mind goes completely blank, and every single English word you have ever learned it disappears from your brain.
It is a very familiar nightmare for so many people.
It really is. So if this sounds like a situation you have been in, you are definitely not alone. Welcome to the Westbrook English Channel.
We are so glad you are here with us.
Yes, we are. Because today, our deep dive mission is all about mastering the art of small talk. Learning a new language is hard enough on its own.
Oh, absolutely.
But using it to make small talk with strangers,
Yeah.
I mean, that feels like a scary monster hiding in the closet. It's a whole new level of pressure.
Yeah, it really does. People get so intimidated by it. Small talk often gets, a pretty bad reputation. People just dismiss it as shallow or boring.
Or just a lot of useless words.
Exactly. But in reality, it is the complete opposite. Small talk is actually the social handshake. It is the key that opens the door to much deeper, meaningful connections.
So we shouldn't view it as this big, scary monster.
No, not at all. You shouldn't see it as a chore. Think of it more like a low-stakes game of catch.
A game of catch, like with a baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Just a friendly, gentle back and forth between two people. Very relaxed.
I mean, I like the idea of a game of catch. But let's be honest about how it actually feels.
Okay, let's be honest.
For a beginner English learner, it does not feel relaxed at all. It feels more like trying to crack a safe without knowing the numbers. You know there's a prize inside, right? Like a good conversation and a new friend, maybe a business contact.
Yeah.
But you have no idea which numbers to spin to unlock it.
That is a great way to describe it. And I think the reason this initial interaction feels so universally intimidating is because we completely misunderstand the actual goal.
How so? What is the real goal?
Well, we put this massive burden on ourselves. We think, oh, I need to be instantly fascinating, or I need to deliver a brilliant, perfectly grammatical speech right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah. That pressure to be perfect is huge.
Right. But small talk is specifically designed to be low stakes. You don't need to be profound. You don't even need to be perfectly fluent. The entire mechanism just exists to show the other person, hey, I am friendly, I am safe, and I am open to connecting with you. That is literally it. It is just the starting line.
Just the starting line. Wow, that actually takes a lot of weight off my shoulders.
Right. You don't have to be a comedian. You just have to be friendly.
But okay, that brings us to a very practical problem. To play this game of catch, you first need to know what kind of ball to throw.
Exactly. You need a starting point.
So when that person walks up to you and your mind just goes blank, what is a combination to unlock the safe?
Well, the secret is having a simple mental framework. When you have too many things you could talk about, your brain just freezes.
Oh, I hate that feeling. Choice paralysis.
Yes, choice paralysis. So to fix that, you use a framework called the FORD.
FORD. Okay, what do those letters stand for?
They represent 4 universal categories of human experience. These are topics that basically everyone, anywhere in the world, enjoys discussing.
Okay, let's break down how this actually works in practice for our listeners. The first letter is F. That stands for family and friends, right?
Exactly, family and friends, the people closest to us.
So how do we use that in real life?
Well, say you are at a party or a gathering. One of the most natural ways to open a conversation is just to ask, how do you know the host?
Well, I love that. Because you are both in the same room for the same reason.
Right. It immediately establishes shared ground. By asking this, you prompt them to tell a brief story about a mutual friend, which instantly lowers their social defenses.
And what if you are not at a party? Like, what if you are just at work?
Then you go broader. You can ask something like, do you have any summer plans with your family?
That is a great one. Everyone has some kind of relationship to the seasons or holidays.
Exactly.
Okay, so that is F. Let's move to O. O stands for occupation, which is what someone does for work.
Yes, occupation.
But wait, I have to push back on this one.
Oh, why is that?
Well, if I just walk up to a stranger and ask, what is your occupation? That sounds like, I don't know, a job interview.
Or a police detective interrogating a suspect.
Right. It feels incredibly cold and formal, like I am a robot reading a form.
And you are spot on. Using the actual word occupation in casual conversation is way too rigid. The secret to the F4D method isn't just the topic. It is the phrasing.
So how should I ask it?
You want to invite emotion, not just data. So instead of a rigid interview question, you ask, how's work been treating you lately?
How's work been treating you lately? That is so much better.
Or you could simply say, what do you do for a living?
I see the difference. Saying, how's work treating you, gives them, permission to complain a little bit.
Exactly. Or to brag a little bit. It acknowledges that work is a human experience, not just a job title.
Okay, that makes sense. It triggers a totally different part of the brain. But what if they hate talking about work?
Well, sometimes people really don't want to talk about work at all, which brings us perfectly to the next letter.
R. R stands for recreation. So things people do for fun, how they relax.
Yes, they're hobbies. And this is usually where people light up.
Oh, for sure. How do we ask about recreation naturally?
A great way to ask about this is simply, what do you like to do when you are not at work?
That is a solid one. My personal favorite right now is asking, have you seen any good shows lately?
Oh, that is a fantastic question.
Right. Television is such a great equalizer. Almost everyone watches something, and people just love the feeling of recommending a show they are passionate about.
And that is the key right there, passion. When people talk about their recreation, they're talking about their choices, not their obligations.
Which leads beautifully into the final letter, D.
Yes. D stands for dreams.
Yeah. To be clear for our listeners, we do not mean the dreams you have when you are sleeping.
Oh, no. Definitely not that.
Right. Like, please don't ask strangers about their weird sleep dreams. We mean dreams like goals, hopes, and positive future plans.
Exactly. So you could ask, are you planning any trips this year? Or is there a project you are excited about?
And why does asking about the future work so well?
Because the psychology behind it is fascinating. When you ask someone about a future trip they are planning, their brain actually releases dopamine just thinking about it.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes. They get to experience a tiny piece of the joy of that vacation right there in the conversation. And because you asked the question, you are the one facilitating that positive feeling. They will associate that good feeling with you.
Wow. So if you ever feel that panic setting in, just mentally scan those 4 letters. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. That gives you the ball to throw.
Yes, it does.
But, choosing the right ball is completely useless if you throw it straight into the dirt.
That's a very valid point.
Choosing the right topic only works if you understand the mechanics of how to ask the question.
And this is where conversations usually live or die. You can choose a great topic, like recreation, but if you format the question poorly, the interaction will stall immediately.
Right. Let's think of it in terms of physics or playing tennis.
Okay, I like a tennis analogy.
If you ask a simple yes or no question, it is like hitting a tennis ball against a solid brick wall.
Oh, right.
Exactly. You hit the ball, thwack, and it bounces right back to you, totally dead. The game stops. You have to pick the ball up and start all over again.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. But asking an open-ended question is like hitting the ball over the net to a real partner. They have to run, swing, and hit it back. It keeps the rally going.
That physical analogy is perfect. The golden rule of small talk is to swap out closed yes or no questions for open, expansive ones.
Let's demonstrate how this subtle shift changes everything for our listeners.
Yeah.
Imagine it is Monday morning in the office. You want to ask a coworker about their weekend. If you ask the brick wall question, you say, did you have a good weekend?
And they just say yes.
Right. And then silence. The ball is dead.
Because the question was closed.
Exactly. So how do we swap that out? We turn it into an open question. We say, what did you get up to this weekend?
Oh, look at the mechanism there. Did you have a good weekend? Only requires data retrieval from the brain. Yes or no. But what did you get up to requires actual storytelling. They have to construct a narrative. They have to tell you about the park they visited or the restaurant they tried.
Here's another one going back to the occupation topic.
Yeah.
Instead of asking, do you like your job? Which is a yes or no trap.
A huge trap.
Instead, try asking, how did you get into that line of work?
Yes, that is a phenomenal pivot. How did you get into that line of work is deeply flattering.
It makes them feel interesting.
Exactly. It tells the other person that you find their life path interesting. It triggers an ego reward. It invites them to talk about their past choices, their university days, their sudden career changes. You are opening a dozen doors for connection instead of just one.
Even with the most boring topic on earth, like the weather, you can still use this rule.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of asking the brick wall question, is it cold outside? Which we both already know the answer to.
Right. We are both wearing coats.
Exactly. Instead, you ask, how are you handling this crazy weather? Suddenly, you are asking for their personal experience of the world, not just reading a thermometer.
It changes everything. Once you start practicing this, turning brick walls into tennis nets, you will notice people talking to you for much longer.
But wait, that actually creates a brand new challenge.
Oh, what is the challenge?
Well, eventually, that person is going to hit the tennis ball back to you. They will ask you an open-ended question.
Ah, yes. It is your turn to speak.
And if you are learning English, it can be very, very tempting to just give a one-word answer and hide.
Yes. Panic sets in.
Right. So how do you keep the conversation flowing smoothly when it's your turn?
To handle that, we use a 3-step formula. It is called the hook and return.
The hook and return. How does it work?
Well, small talk has to be a two-way street. When someone asks you a question, you don't want to give a dead answer, but you also don't want to deliver a 10-minute monologue.
No one likes a monologue.
Right. So the hook and return solves this. Step 1 is answer the question briefly.
Okay. Answer briefly.
Step 2, drop a hook. Think of a hook like fishing bait. It is a tiny, specific, interesting detail you offer to see if they bite.
A little piece of bait. Got it.
And step 3, return the ball with a question of your own. So it goes answer, hook, return.
Let's actually role play this for the listeners so they can hear the exact rhythm of it.
Let's do it. I will ask you a standard small talk question, and you execute the hook and return. Ready?
Ready. Let's play catch.
So what do you do?
I'm in marketing, which basically means I spend all day figuring out why people buy things they don't really need. Lately, though, I've been trying to learn how to cook Thai food. Are you much of a cook, or do you prefer eating out?
Wow, perfect. Let's dissect why that was so effective.
Great. Break it down.
First, you answered the question directly and briefly. I'm in marketing. You didn't bore me with the details of your daily spreadsheets.
No spreadsheets, thank goodness. And then came step 2.
Yes, the genius part. The hook. You made a quick joke about making people buy things they don't need, and then you dropped in a completely unrelated detail. Learning to cook Thai food.
I basically put 2 different pieces of bait in the water.
You really did. You gave me the option to ask about the psychology of marketing. Or, if I hate business talk, you gave me the option to talk about food.
Right. It gives the other person fun choices.
And that is exactly why the hook relieves so much pressure. If I don't know anything about marketing, a normal conversation would stall right there. I would feel awkward.
But everyone eats.
Exactly. By dropping the Thai food hook, you gave me a life raft, and then you flawlessly executed step 3, the return.
I asked, are you much of a cook, or do you prefer eating out?
Right, you put the spotlight right back onto me. It creates a beautiful rhythm.
It really does. But I'm going to give our listeners a quick warning here.
Oh, what is the warning?
You can master the F4D method. You can ask great open questions. You can drop all the hooks you want. But if you are just waiting for your turn to speak, you will never build a real connection.
Oh, that is so...
You have to actually listen to what the other person is saying.
Yes. Active listening is the invisible engine of good conversation.
How should we think about active listening?
Well, when people speak, they naturally drop little clues. Think of these clues as conversational threads.
Conversational threads, like on a sweater.
Exactly like a sweater. Imagine a loose piece of string hanging off the sleeve. If you pull that string, more and more thread just unravels. Conversations work the exact same way.
Let's look at a clear example of this. Imagine your coworker says to you, yeah, work was super busy this week because I had to travel to Chicago.
Okay, so if you weren't paying attention, you might just reply, oh, cool.
And saying, oh, cool, is taking a pair of scissors and cutting the thread.
Right, the conversation is totally dead. To pull the thread, you have to pivot toward the specific detail they just handed you. In this case, Chicago.
So what do I say instead?
You could pivot and say, oh, Chicago. Were you able to grab any deep dish pizza while you were there, or was it strictly business?
By mentioning deep dish pizza, which the city is famous for, you instantly prove that you are actively listening.
Precisely. You pulled the thread.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here.
Okay, go for it.
Because this is a massive fear for beginner language learners. What if I hear the thread, but I don't know anything about it?
Look, what do you mean?
Like, what if they say Chicago, and I have never been there, I don't know about the city, and I definitely don't know about the pizza?
Right.
Does the conversation just crash and burn because I lack the cultural knowledge?
That is a totally valid fear, but honestly, it's actually the best case scenario.
Wait, really? How is not knowing the best case scenario?
Because if you hear a thread and you know nothing about it, pulling the thread simply means inviting them to be the expert. It takes all the pressure off of your English skills.
Oh, wow. That makes a lot of sense. So I don't need to fake knowing about the city.
Not at all. If they say, I had to travel to Chicago, you just pivot and say, I have never been to Chicago. What is the energy of the city like compared to here?
Oh, that is such a relief.
Right. Human beings love to teach. They love explaining their experiences to someone who's genuinely curious. You don't need to know the facts. You just need to provide the curiosity. They will do all the heavy lifting for you.
That completely changes the game. The goal isn't to be an encyclopedia of facts. The goal is just to be interested in their world.
Exactly.
So we've navigated the whole process. We opened with 4D. We avoided the brick wall with open questions. We tossed the ball back and forth with the hook and return, and we pulled the conversational threads.
The interaction is a massive success.
But all good games of catch have to end eventually.
Yes, they do.
And honestly, sometimes the most terrifying part of small talk isn't starting it. It is figuring out how to escape it without being incredibly rude.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of social anxiety comes from the fear of getting trapped in a conversation forever.
Yes. Getting stuck and not knowing how to leave.
But here's the trick. If you know exactly how to leave gracefully, it actually gives you the courage to start the conversation in the first place because you know you have a reliable exit strategy.
Leaving a conversation cleanly really is an art form. And the psychological mechanism here is fascinating. The trick is, you must state your exit before you say goodbye.
The order of operations is crucial.
Right, you have to establish the reason for leaving first so the departure doesn't feel abrupt or rejecting.
Let's look at 3 specific, slow, and clear examples of how to execute this gracefully for our learners. First, imagine you are at a dinner party.
Okay?
You would say, I need to go grab a refill on my drink, but it was great chatting with you.
Notice the structure there. I need to go grab a refill on my drink. The physical reason comes first.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the validation.
But it was great chatting with you. Here is a second example, perfect for a professional networking event. You say, I see my friend just arrived, so I should probably go say hi, but I loved hearing about your trip.
Again, you point to an external force. I see my friend just arrived, and then you validate them. But I loved hearing about your trip.
And a third option, which is universally understood when an event is winding down. I'm going to go head out before traffic gets crazy, but let's catch up again soon.
Oh, I'm going to head out before traffic gets crazy.
Right.
Blaming traffic is the ultimate exit strategy.
Right. Because it is the one thing every human being on the planet hates. So everyone understands.
They really do.
But honestly, when speaking a second language, your brain gets so exhausted. Sometimes it is incredibly tempting to just panic, yell, okay, bye, and physically run in the opposite direction.
We have all had that exact impulse. Just run away.
Exactly. But why is it so important that we don't just yell, okay, bye? It comes down to human psychology. If you just abruptly end a conversation, the other person immediately internalizes it. Their ego is bruised.
Meaning they take it personally.
Exactly. They think, oh no, I bored them. I did something wrong. They don't like me.
Which breaks that social handshake.
Right. But when you state the reason first, blaming the empty drink, blaming the new arrival, blaming the traffic, you are essentially saying, I want to keep talking to you, but this outside force is pulling me away.
You blame the environment, not the conversation.
Yes. It completely protects their feelings. It makes them feel respected rather than rejected.
That ensures the social handshake stays intact, so the next time you see them, they will actually be happy to talk to you. You have successfully cracked the combination to the safe.
You really have.
Let's quickly review the tools you can now use to play this game of catch. First, when your mind goes blank, rely on the 4D constraint. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
Second, keep the rally going by swapping yes or no questions for open-ended ones.
Third, use the hook and return to share a little bait and ask a question back. Keep it a two-way street.
Fourth, listen closely and pull those conversational threads. Even if you know nothing about the topic, let them be the expert.
And finally, protect their ego by stating your reason for leaving before saying goodbye.
When you look at all these tools together, you aren't just learning English vocabulary today.
No, you really aren't.
You are learning the underlying mechanics of how humans build trust.
That is exactly what it is, building trust. So before we go, we want to leave you with a provocative thought to mull over. Take a moment right now and visualize a specific situation coming up in your life where you will need to interact with people.
Is it a networking event next week? A first date?
Or maybe just running into those chatty coworkers by the office coffee machine. Picture that exact room. Picture the people in it.
Now, decide which specific tool from today you are going to use first. Will you ask about their weekend using an open-ended question?
Will you drop a hook about a new hobby? Make a plan right now.
Once you have a plan, that safe doesn't look so impossible to crack anymore.
It really doesn't. Remember, small talk is meant to be a low-stakes game. Don't be afraid to drop the ball a few times while you are learning the rhythm. We are so proud of you for showing up today, pushing through the challenges of learning a new language and practicing your English with us.
You are doing brilliantly.
Thank you so much for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe to the Westbrook English channel. We will see you next time.